Hey Grover Cleveland, hope you're all doing well. Today we got another request and we are going to draw a Lego person. And then we're going to do a very standard basic Lego person with just the basic shapes, and then of course you can add whatever you want and decorate them and turn them into whatever character you desire. We're going to do it twice. We're going to do an easier two-dimensional version, and then we're going to attempt one that's on an angle, that's a three-dimensional version where we can see the side of it and the front of it. These are actually kind of tricky to draw because they're all these geometric shapes that are these perfect shapes, these squares and cubes. And if you don't get them just right, it doesn't look totally correct. But we're going to accept that and not worry about it, okay? So the first thing I'm going to start with is the line for my Lego man's shoulders. I'm going to make it nice and straight. And then we're going to come down for the sides of the body. And we want to curve down. We don't want it to be a point here because it's actually rounded. So I'm going to curve down, and I'm not going to come straight down. I'm almost going to come straight down. But I'm going to go diagonally out a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's just... about there. It's a little bit longer than it is wide. And then I'll do it on this side, curve it, and come down a little bit out. You see they're coming out just a little bit. And then we can connect them. Their points here. Okay, we're going to add another long rectangle down here. So I'll put the two sides, and this is pretty skinny. It's almost like a belt or something like that. Okay, let's add the neck. Two very short lines. Okay, right, this is where you pop the head in. Another very short one. All right, now the head is one of the trickier parts, I think, because every corner is rounded. It's just a square, but every corner is rounded, so you really want to take your time. About like that. See, I might be making my head a little too big. We'll see. And then bring it across, rounding off those corners. Uh-oh. All right, so mine's a little wobbly. And then you add the top part where you would connect the hat or whatever else, the hair, the helmet. That's just a tiny rectangle. All right, so there's our face. That doesn't look too shabby. And our body. Let's do our arms. The arms are actually one of the easier parts because they're sort of tubes, so they're a little easier to just kind of do. We're going to start near the shoulder, a little bit below it, and just kind of come out in a curved line. Okay, I'll do that over here too. Something like that. And then we're going to do sort of the ends of the arms. And since these are cylinders, right, they're round like tubes, we want to do the edge of it. It's going to be like a curve, sort of like a backwards letter C. We'll stop there. And then this one will be an actual letter C going this way. All right. And now we have room for the hands to come out there. And we'll follow this up parallel to this line. So the same as that line. It'll curve up the same way. La. This one will be parallel to this line. So this line curves like that. This line will curve like that. Just the same way. La. All right, now they have these little hook hands. So we want to do another little C and another little C right in there. And then we want to do a big C. So this is the actual hook. And another big one. And you see that these ones are connected to the little one we just did. And then we want to do doink, doink. Two little lines for the edges of the, I guess you wouldn't call them fingers, would you? And then another C inside here to connect these points. We're getting into the nitty-gritty here. And we could go in and make that more detailed, but we're going to keep this one nice and simple. Now we want to go into the legs. So we're going to start with another rectangle like this, but it'll be a much taller one. So I'm going to come down to about there. You can see this is more than twice as tall as this rectangle. About like that, straight across. And then we can put two lines in the middle. This is where like the legs connect to the body. And then we're going to do 2 more squares just the same, like this. So come down here, come down here, follow these down. Now this time when I make the bottoms of the squares, I'm not going to connect it in here. I'm going to leave this open. So I'll just go to here, skip it, connect that one. So now we have a little space here. And then we just need some rectangles for the toes or the feet. And these are a little skinnier, a little thinner. All right, now we just need the classic little eyes and smile. Now, if you're doing a different kind of Lego character, it might look different than this. But again, I'm just going to do the classic. The mouth is up near the middle. It's not too low down, and it's just a tiny little smile. Very simple, kind of like that. And then the eyes are just right above it, sort of like where the 2 corners of the smile are. Just go right above it and put a little eye, like so. And there's mine. Mine has a little, his eyes are a little crooked, I guess, but there's nothing I can do about that, is there, kids? All right, so if you enjoyed that, awesome. If you want to try the 3-dimensional version, you don't have to. You may, okay? Just doing one is okay, but if you're up for the extra challenge, go ahead. This one is trickier. We're going to start and just work our way down. So I'm going to start with this piece right here, but this time we're going to do an oval because we're looking at it from the top. Then I'm going to put 2 sides down and then another oval line like this. So now this is the same part as that, but we're looking at it from above so we can see the top and the side of it. And now we want to do 2 curved lines coming out of the middle and curve them down like so. Try to keep them symmetrical. And then curve it around like this. So our perspective with this one is we're looking straight at it. This one, we're standing to the side of it and we're above it. So we're looking at it more from like a bird in a tree or something. And now we're going to do the shoulders. I want to do a diagonal line here, coming right close to it and then going past it. Okay. Then I want to do that same line again, parallel to it, but over here. So I'll start back here, but we can't see it there because his head's there. And then we could see it here, and it comes out a little bit more like that. And then I can connect those with a diagonal line this way. And I could put that same line over here, but then we can't see it behind the head. Okay, so now we have his head and his shoulders. Now we're going to do this line. All right, that line will start right here, and it's going to come down to about there. We can do this line, so that would start at this corner, come down to about there, and I know I'm moving fast. Feel free to pause this if I'm going too fast. All right. And then we can connect the bottom of these, so it should be parallel to this line, meaning it will go in the same direction as this line. So this line goes diagonally this way, so we want this line to go just the same way. And that's sort of a guessing game, since we don't have rulers. Okay, there we go. Then we're going to do the little rectangle. I forgot the word rectangle. Whee! That you can kind of just go right along. Let's put the arms in. Okay, since we're looking at them from the side a little bit, we can't see too much of this arm, so I'm just going to curve out a little line and bring it down. So we can just see the edge of his arm. A little rectangle for the sort of the wrist. And then we'll do that C, the big C for his hand. 2 little lines, just like we did this one. A little C inside. Now this time, since it's 3-dimensional, we can see the sides of it as well. So I'm going to make a diagonal line inside from this corner until it hits the inside of the C. And I'll do the same thing here, to about there. And then we're going to do a parallel line to this curved line, curved line. That gets a little tricky, I know, guys. Don't worry if yours is coming out a little funny there. That's some tricky stuff. All right, let's do the legs. The legs curve out a little bit. So we're going to do a little bit of a curved line. Then we'll come to this side, a little bit of curved line, and then we can connect those with a straight line. All right. Now we can put a line down the middle, curved line, parallel to the other ones. And then we can follow this line in your head straight down, and we're going to keep that going with the leg straight down to about there. And then we're going to put the other side of the leg about here. And then another line right near it. So now we have the space between the two legs. And then you have a line for the other leg. I made this leg a little too wide. Let me move it down a little bit. But that's okay. Mistakes are okay. And we want to have the ankle line going right across. So I need to have all these lines line up so that I can make another diagonal line like this. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit, this down, and this down. And now I can do a diagonal line just like that. And then I can have the toes coming out. So I'm going to do a horizontal line on each corner. Horizontal, so straight across, side to side, right? Straight across. And then I can do another diagonal line just like this one, parallel to that one. Boink, boink. All right, so we have the tops of the toes, and then we want to do the front of the toes. So we're going to go straight down, total vertical from the corners. Boink, boink. Little tiny vertical lines right on the corners. Let me move this down a little bit. And then we want to do this diagonal line again, parallel to that. Good, and then we can fit a little line here that is parallel to this horizontal line. So we can see the bottom of the foot a little bit there. And we can do the bottom of this foot. And this one, since we can see the whole thing, will come all the way back to about here, and then we'll stop. If you are still with me on this one, give yourself a pat on the back, because this guy is complicated. Don't worry, we did the most complicated stuff. Let's put this arm in now. So we're going to put a letter C up here for the shoulder, sort of like this. And then we're going to curve it down and around. Curve it down. And then we'll go up to this corner. Curve it down. Try to keep it parallel. And we can just straighten that off. We'll give a little tiny rectangle for the wrist. And then we'll do another big letter C. Oops. Oops. I forgot to do it. And then we put the other C inside and straighten it out. And then we can see the side of it here a little bit. So I'm going to draw another horizontal line just like I did here. I'm going to do the same thing. Horizontal line on the corner, horizontal line to about there. And then we can do a parallel line to the curve to bring it back up. All right. Now that we have that, we can just connect this to this with a vertical line. But obviously we can't see through the arm, so when you get to the arm, just stop and pretend it's going behind it. So vertical, straight down, here it comes, to about here. Oh boy, well if you're still with me on this one, give yourself a pat on the back. And finally, we just need to add the face. Now since he's looking this way, the face will be over here as opposed to right in the middle. And since we're above it, it's going to be lower than usual too. So I'm going to tuck that mouth closer to the bottom than we did the last one. A little smile. And then the eyes are right above it. So you can see the face is much lower. And that's only because of the perspective, the direction we're looking at it from. That guy looks like he has a little chocolate on his mouth. He needs to wipe his face off. All right, everybody. I hope you guys had fun with that, and I can't wait to see them. Have a great one.